हरि ओम। ओम ओम ओम। ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री हिरण्यगर्भाय नमः। ओम श्री महाविष्णवे नमः। ओम श्री महादेवाय नमः। ओम श्री महादुर्गायै नमः। ओम श्री राम रामाय नमः। ओम श्री सद्गुरवे नमः। ओम सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। ओम गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं। भवानी शङ्करौ वन्दे श्रद्धाविश्वासरूपिणौ याभ्यां विना न पश्यन्ति सिद्धाः स्वान्तस्तमीश्वरम्। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेदसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीतायाः पतये नमः। बुद्धिर्बलं यशोधैर्यं निर्भयत्वमरोगताम् अजाड्यं वाक्पटुत्वं च हनुमत्स्मरणात् भवेत्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां। शङ्करं परमानन्दं ब्रह्मनिष्ठं यतीश्वरं भाष्यभ्रान्तिहरं वन्दे शुद्धज्ञानैकबोधकम्। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ नमः शिवाय 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 ॐ नमः शिवाय। नमः पार्वतीपतये हर हर महादेव। हरि ओम हरि ओम। We shall begin with the Shanti mantra of Mundaka Upanishad. Om Bhadram Karnebhih Shrunuyam Devaah Bhadram Pashyemakshabhiryajatraah Sthirairangaih Stuštuvagam Sastanubhih Veshem Devahitam Yadayuh स्वस्ति न इंद्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति न पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्ताक्षो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम। We shall chant from the first mantra of the first section of the second chapter. तदेतत् सत्यं यथा सुदीप्तात् पावकात् विस्फुलिङ्गाः सहस्रशः प्रभवन्ते स्वरूपाः तथाक्षराद् विविधा सौम्यभावाः प्रजायन्ते तत्र चैवापि यन्ते दिव्यो यमूर्तः पुरुषः स बाह्याभ्यन्तरो ह्यजः अप्राणो ह्यमनः शुभ्रः यक्षरात् परतः परः एतस्मात् जायते प्राणः मनः सर्वेन्द्रियाणि च खं वायुर्ज्योतिरापः पृथिवी विश्वस्य धारिणी अग्निर्मूर्धा चक्षुषी चन्द्रसूर्यौ दिशश्रोत्रे वाग्विवृताश्च वेदाः वायुप्राणो हृदयं विश्वमस्य पद्भ्यां पृथिवी ह्येष सर्वभूतान्तरात्मा तस्मादग्निः समिधो यस्य सूर्यः सोमात् पर्जन्य ओषधयः पृथिव्यां पुमान् रेतः सिञ्चति योषितायां बह्वी प्रजा पुरुषात् सम्प्रसूताः। So in this second chapter, first section, the teacher talks about the Paravidya. From that Brahma alone, all beings are born. Just as from fire, so many sparks are born. But by itself, that Brahma is divine, free from all forms, all pervading, inside, outside, everything, and devoid of prana, mana, extremely pure. From this Brahma alone, the pranas, the mana, indriyas, and all the five elements are born. From this Brahma alone, that Vaishvanara is born, who has his head as the heavens, the space, and his eyes are the sun and the moon. The various directions are his ears, and Vedas are his speech. The Vayu are his pranas. His Antakarana is the entire world, and his feet are this Prithvi, earth. Again, from that Brahma alone, all beings are born. Human beings are also born from that Brahma. So it is indicated in the form of this five Agni, five stages. So that Supreme Brahma, from that alone, that entire space is born, in which the potentially the seeds of all beings are there, and from that Agni, from that space is born the clouds. From the clouds, when it falls on earth as rains, then it is born in the herbs, and from the herbs it enters the body of the man, and from there it enters the body of the woman, and the different beings, human beings are born. So, though that Supreme Brahma doesn't undergo any change, any modification, but due to its own power appears as this world without undergoing any change. Just as the gold appears like all gold ornaments, but gold doesn't become something else. Though we use the term the ornaments are born, but gold is always there. Gold is never born. Similarly, Brahma is always present. The world in the form of names and forms are born, is sustained, and again merges back into that Brahma. So all human beings have also come from that Brahma alone. Then now in the next mantra, the Rishi tells that all the Vedas and all our sadhanas and all karmas and karma phalas are also born from Brahma alone. So let us chant mantra number 6. Tasmad richasama yajunshi diksha yajnascha sarve kratavo dakshinascha samvatsarascha yajamanascha lokaha somo yatra pavate yatra suryah तस्माद् ऋचस्सामयजुंषि दीक्षा यज्ञाश्च सर्वे क्रतवो दक्षिणाश्च संवत्सरश्च यजमानश्च लोकाः सोमो यत्र पवते यत्र सूर्यः. Tasmat, from that Purusha, from that Brahma are born all the Vedas. The Vedas are also spontaneous expression of Brahma. Vedas are also Anadi Ananta Apaurusheya. They are not written by any human beings nor by any Rishi Munis. The Vedas are spontaneous expressions of Brahma. Vedas contain not only the knowledge of Dharma, but Vedas also contain the knowledge of Brahma. So Vedas are the knowledge, encyclopedia of knowledge. And based on this knowledge only everything functions in this world. So Tasmad Richaha, from that Brahma alone, the Vedas, as the Rig Veda, which has got Richas, then Samaved and Yajurved are born. See, there are these different types of mantras in the Vedas. So Richas are those mantras which have a fixed meters, etc., like the Gayatri Chanda. So Tasmat Purushad Richaha Niyata Akshara Padavasana Gayatriadi Chandaha Vishishta Mantraha. So definite, like poetic. And the same poetic meters with some additional features and which can be sung are the mantras of the Samaved. And those mantras which do not have any fixed meters, which are like prose, they are the mantras of the Yajurved. So the mantras of Rigved, Samved, Yajurved are spontaneously born from Brahma only. They are born from Brahma. See, in the field of science also they are trying to understand the origin of life. But the most mysterious thing about life is the intelligence. Like a tiny little seed is there which is alive, but if you open that seed you may not see anything. Everything will be just same. But that seed contains the intelligence which has got the capacity to convert the material from the soil into a huge tree with so many different parts, with trunks and branches and leaves and fruits. So, all this have come due to the intelligence only, which is there in the seed. So even if we want to build a building, we need a proper plan. So they have to have a plan of how the foundation will be and what will be the structure of that whole building. They have to calculate the strength and every strength of all the columns and pillars, etc. Then only the whole building can be built. There are some buildings which are so tall which almost touches the sky. So they have to be built according to plan. You just cannot just start building and just like that it grows. Similarly, a huge tree has to take birth. The entire intelligence, the blueprint of the tree should be there, and it is there in the seed. So from the seed only the entire tree is born. Similarly, all that is happening in this world is backed by intelligence. And this intelligence is not an expression of matter. Just by some lightning and thunder, the matter did not come alive. The intelligence is something subtler, something different. So that knowledge or intelligence is there expressed in the Vedas. And these Vedas have also come from that Brahma alone. So tasmad richas sama yajunshi. And these Vedas, they guide not only human beings but also the devatas and also Brahmaji. So they contain all the guidance of Dharma and Brahma. So if we want to follow the path of the shown by the Vedas, we should have proper initiation. That initiation into the Vedas are called Diksha. So this Diksha is also born from Brahma alone. The young boy goes to the Gurukul after having proper initiation of Upanayanam, etc. Then he starts studying the Vedas. So that is called Diksha. So Diksha is also born from Brahma. And once one takes the Diksha, one becomes qualified to perform the various karmas mentioned in the Vedas. They are called yagnas and kratu. So yajñāscha sarve kratava, all the yajñas and all the kratu are some special yajñas, they are also born from Brahma alone. And when one does the yajña karya or some purohit does the yajña, we offer some dakshina to the purohit. So those dakshinas are also born from Brahma. So dakshina, Shankaracharya ji writes, dakshinascha eka gavadi aparimita sarva swantaha. Says that dakshina beginning from donating a cow to donating everything. We have seen in Kathopanishad also that Nachiketa's father, he donated everything as dakshina. So this dakshina is also born from Brahma. The attitude, the tendency to offer dakshina as well as the material with which we offer dakshina is all born in Brahma, from Brahma. Then these yagnas have to be performed in a specific time. So samvatsarascha, so that time in the form of years or months or fortnights or a day or a muhurta, all this time is also born from that Brahma alone. This time is so mysterious. It is, see, we have these 5 elements, Akash, Vayu, Agni, Jal, Prithvi, but time is not the quality of any of these 5 elements. But time is something which we experience with the help of our mind. By observing change in the world, in the matter, we come to experience time. Even by experiencing the change in our body, our mind, we experience time. If there is no change happening anywhere, we will not be able to experience time. So time is a very mysterious expression of Brahma. Not only time, but even space is also very mysterious, which is also experienced with the help of our mind. So space and time is a mysterious expression of Brahma, and from this space and time only everything else, everything also got created. In Dakshinamurti Stotram also, Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji writes कि माया कल्पित देश काल कलना वैचित्र चित्रे कृतम, that from Maya this desha and kala, space and time is born, and from there everything else is born. So samvatsarascha, the time is also born from Brahma. Then yajaman, yajaman is the one who is performing the karma. The husband and wife, they sit together and perform the yajna as indicated in the Vedas. The Purohit guides them, and it is performed for the sake of the yajaman. So this yajaman is also born from that Brahma. And when one performs this karma, one gains the result as some entry in some loka. One can go to a higher worlds. So those worlds are also born from Brahma. Lokaha. The worlds are also born from Brahma alone. See, just as from that seed, the various different types of features of the tree are born. The leaves are totally different, green. The fruits are so different, filled with the rasa and the taste, sweetness. But all of them are born from that seed alone. Similarly, all the features of this world, not only matter, but all the activities which are happening in this world, all the beings who are there performing various types of activities, the intelligence behind every being to perform the various activities, everything is born from Brahma. Other than Brahma, nothing else is there. Brahma alone expresses as this world. In Gita also, in the 10th chapter, Bhagwan shows to Arjuna that how everything is my own swarup only. He shows his vibhuti. The sun, the moon, the star, the mountain, the rivers, the birds, the animals, devtas, all are Bhagwan's vibhutis only, are his various expressions. Just as in a shop we see the different varieties of ornaments, all of them are made from gold. So all ornaments are the vibhutis of gold, the glories of gold. Similarly, the whole world is the glory of Brahma. Etavanasya mahima. In the Purusha Suktam also it is said, this whole world is the mahima of that Brahma. But Brahma itself is much subtler and beyond this world also, much more than this world. Etavanasya mahima ato jayaganscha purushaha padosya vishva bhutani tripadasya divi. The entire world is just a tiny little expression of that Brahma. Brahma is much more than this world. In Gita also Bhagavan, after showing that Vishvarupa to Arjuna, he says this entire Vishva is just supported by little expression of me. This whole world, entire Vishva, which is so vast and so infinite, is like a tiny little expression of that Brahma. Brahma is much, much vaster, larger, more wonderful than even this vast world. So lokaha, the entire lokas, various fields of experiences are also born from Brahma. And in this lokas, there are the sun and the moon. So somo yatra pavate, the moon nourishes those worlds, and the sun illumines those worlds. So somo yatra pavate yatra suryaha, just as we see our own earth, it is constantly nourished by the moon. The moon is the most fascinating and most mysterious heavenly body which we see. At the right distance from earth, with the right size, revolving around the earth, showing its same face all the time. The other side of the moon we never see. Because of the moon, the high tide, low tides and different seasons happen, and even life is possible. So the moon nourishes the trees, and the herbs and the plants also are nourished by the moon. And the sun also blesses us, illumines the whole earth, gives us light and heat and the energy to function. So similarly, there are many lokas which are nourished and blessed by the moon and the sun, about which we hear about them in our shastras. So tasmad richasama yajunsi diksha yajnascha sarve kratavo dakshinascha samvatsarascha yajamanascha lokaha somo yatra pavate yatra suryaha. Again, further, the teacher says that even the devatas are born from Brahma. See, here the details are given because the student had asked that question, that kasminnu bhagavo vijñate sarvam idam vijñatam bhavati, that what is that one thing knowing which everything becomes known. So what is the meaning of everything? Everything is everything. The whole world, with all the beings, with all the karmas, with all the karma phalas, with all the devatas, all the details, everything is mentioned here. as emerging from that Brahma alone and supported by Brahma and again merges back into Brahma. Therefore, knowing that Brahma, we will know everything. Knowing everything separately, we will not be able to know everything because it's infinite. But once we know Brahma, we will know everything. If we try to know each and every gold ornaments, it will never be possible. But if we know gold, then we will know all the gold ornaments. Therefore, everything is mentioned here in detail. So now in the next mantra, the teacher tells that the devatas are also born from Brahma. So he says, Tasmacha deva bahuda samprasutaha sadhya manusya pashavo vayamsi pranapano vrihi yavo tapascha Shraddha satyam brahmacharyam vidhischa tasmacha deva bahudha samprasutaha sadhya manusya pashavo vayamse pranapano vrihi yavo tapascha Shraddha satyam brahmacharyam vidhischa. It says tasmat, from that Purusha. Tasmacha Purushat Karmanga Bhuta Devaha Bahudha Vasvadi Ganabhedena Samprasuta Samyak Prasutaha. So all the devtas are also part of the karma. Means when we perform karma like yajna, yaga, they are offered to these devatas. So the human beings along with the devatas, they perform this karma. In Bhagavad Gita also, Bhagavan tells Arjuna that you nourish the devatas and devatas will nourish you. Through your karma, you nourish the devatas and the devatas will nourish you. In this way, nourishing each other, all of you will attain the goodness. You will attain the supreme. So devatas also have their own duties and human beings also have their duties. So when we perform this karma, they are offered to those devatas. So there are the 33 types of devatas are there who are part of this karma, karmanga. Purushat karmanga bhuta devaha. So there are this 12 Adityas are there, Dwadasha Aditya, Ekadasha Rudra, 11 Rudra Devatas, Ashtavasu, 8 Vasu Devatas are there. Then there is Indra, and there is Prajapati. So in this way, there are these 33 Devatas are there. So, they are also born from that Brahma alone. From that Brahma, all the devatas are also born. Just as in our body began from a tiny little cell. The tiny little sperm from our father entered the mother and it started growing, and then all the limbs were born. The limbs grew, and all the different parts of the body, and the entire body well made was born. So many different features are there in our body, which makes all activities possible. Our walking, our talking, our seeing, hearing, tasting, touching, thinking, feeling, eating, digesting. All these activities which we perform, they are possible because of the cooperation of all the organs and so many other features which are there. So complex and so complicated features are there which make everything possible. And all of them are born in me, in this body itself. Similarly, this whole world is a complex organism, is a Vaishvanara, in which different beings are there, part of that Vaishvanara, in which different activities are happening. All of them are connected to everything else. So the Devatas are also there, which makes this whole world function properly. Human beings are also there who perform their duties to keep this world moving. So all of them are born from Brahma. Tasmacha deva bahuda samprasutaha. Then there are the other beings are there called sadhya deva visheshaha. They are also special types of devatas. Sadhya. They are also born from Brahma. Then manushyaha karmadhikritaha. So human beings are also born from Brahma, who are qualified to perform actions. Human beings alone on earth are given instructions to perform actions. In Gita also Bhagavan says, Karmannev adhikar aste, that you have your right over karma. Animal, birds, plants and all, they cannot proactively perform karma. So no do's and don'ts are given to them. But human beings are given these do's and don'ts because they can decide, they can perform their action proactively. Therefore, they have the adhikar, qualification to perform actions. So manushyaha, human beings are also born from Brahma. Then pashavaha, the animals who stay in the forest and all, pashavaha gramya aranyaha, the domesticated animals as well as the wild animals. They are also born from Brahma. Vayamsi pakshinaha, vayamsi means the birds. The birds are also so many varieties of birds are there. Very amazing. Each and every bird have its own features, own specialities. The way they fly, the way they build their nest, the way they look. They have their own speciality. All these birds are also born from Brahma. Then Jivanam, vayamsi Jivanancha manushadinam pranapano vrihi yavo havir arthau. Then the prana and apan, the pancha pranas which are there in our body, which makes us keeps this body alive. Prana pano, which keep this body alive. Jivanancha manushadinam. Not only human beings but other animals also are kept alive because of these pranas which are there. So these pranas, prana and apana, are also born from Brahma. And vrihi yavo, and all the grains and herbs which are offered in the yajna, they are also born from Brahma. Then tapascha, the tapas, a special type of karma which we perform. In Gita also Bhagavan talks about three kinds of tapas, the sharirik, vachik and mansik tapas, which is a part of karma, which gives special results also. To tapascha karmangam purusha samskara lakshanam, it gives good samskar to us when we perform those tapas. And swatantram phala sadhanam, and independently it can give a specific results also. So there are stories even of the Rakshasas who perform special tapas to gain blessings of Bhagwan. Even Parvati ji did tapas as a little girl to attain Lord Shiva. She did vigorous tapas for many years. And finally, Bhagwan Shiva was very pleased with her and got married to her. So these tapas are special sadhanas, special karmas, which gives independently can give results. So they are also born from Brahma. Then Shraddha. In order to perform our sadhana and any karma, we need Shraddha, we need faith. So Shraddha Purvakaha Sarva Purushartha Sadhana Prayogaha Chitta Prasada Astikya Buddhihi. All the sadhanas we have to do with Shraddha, with the Astikya Buddhi, that yes, Ishvara is there and this karma which I am performing will give me that specific results. So faith in ourselves, faith in the dharma, faith in Ishvara, faith in the devatas. With such faith, when we perform our sadhana, then we get the appropriate results. So Sarva Purushartha Sadhana Prayoga Chitta Prasada. Also we gain Chitta Shuddhi. Astikya Buddhihi Tatha Satyam. Then Satyam is also a very important value which one has to cultivate in order to become a good sadhak, in order to gain the proper results of our karma. So what is Satyam? Anrata Varjanam, to give up all falsehood, to give up all lies, is called Satyam. Anrata Varjanam. Yatha Bhuta Artha Vachanam, to speak truth, to speak as it is, not to hide anything, not to say something which is not correct, to express as it is. So that is called Satyam. Later on also in Mundaka Upanishad it will be revealed that Satya is the path which will take us towards the ultimate Satya, Paramarthik Satya. Satyameva Jayate, only Satya alone wins. Na Anratam, not falsehood. So Satyam Anrata Varjitam Yatha Bhuta Arthavachanam Cha Apida Karam. Even Satya also means not to hurt or harm any beings. That is also considered as Satya. Not to hurt or harm any creatures. Then Brahmacharya. Brahmacharya is also born from Brahma. What is Brahmacharya? Maithuna asamachara, to remain celibate, is also a value which is born from Brahma. And Vidihi cha iti kartavyata, and all the various kartavya, various things to be done, the vidhi which is given in the Vedas that this should be done is called vidhi. Nished means those things which should be avoided. So vidhi is the do's, nished is don'ts. So all these do's and don'ts are also born from Brahma. Therefore Brahma is indicated as Purna. It has got the Shakti and the potential for everything. See, what we know and what we experience on this earth is only a tiny little fraction of that Shakti of that Brahma. Brahma is much vaster, much bigger, much larger than what we see around us. Even the entire world which is there, our own this solar system in which we live, and this whole Milky Way galaxy is there, only a tiny little portion of that galaxy we can see. When we go out at night and look up into the sky, we see so many stars. All those stars which we see is just a little portion of our entire Milky Way. And such galaxies are billions and billions of galaxies are there. And there are billions and billions of stars in them, with very many varieties of planets and moons and satellites, each of them more fascinating than the other. There are moons and planets which are also filled with diamonds and gold. Even some asteroids and all are there, which has got total filled with gold. So mysterious, so fascinating this entire creation. All of them have come from that Brahma. All of them have come from Brahma means they are Brahma only is expressing as this world. When we say the moon, it is Brahma expressing as moon. The sun is Brahma expressing as the sun. Everything is Brahma alone. Just as the clay alone expresses as the pot. So whatever portion of the pot we touch, we are touching clay only. So whatever we see, hear, taste, touch in this world, everything is Brahma. Other than Brahma, nothing is there. Then further, in the next mantra, the teacher continues with this topic, says, Sapta prana prabhavanti tasmat samarchishas samidhas sapta homaha sapta ime loka yeshu charanti pranaha guhashaya nihita sapta 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 prana prabhavanti tasmat samarchishah samidhas sapta homaha sapta ime loka yeshu charanti pranaha guhashaya nihita sapta 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 pranaha prabhavanti tasmat. From that Brahma alone we are born as human beings, and in us we have these senses which are expressing through the various locations. So there are these 7 locations on our face itself, from where these senses they express. So what are the 7 locations? The 2 eyes are there, the 2 ears are there, the 2 nostrils are there, and the mouth is there. So they are like the Shakti of that Brahma, that Prana Shakti, which is activating the senses to function. So Sapta Shirshashnya Pranaha Tasmadeva Purushat Prabhavanti. So these senses are indicated here as Pranaha. They are born from that of Brahma alone. It's so mysterious actually. Because of our grossness and impurity of our antakarana, we fail to appreciate the wonder which is there outside in the world, as well as in this body, as well as in our personality. The wonder which is there is not appreciated by many. It is so fascinating that we have these senses which have the capacity to see this world, to experience this world. Our eyes, so tiny little eyes which are stationed on our face, they have the capacity to see the stars which are so far away and also see objects which are nearby. Some of the stars which we see are so far away, it will take so many years, even at the speed of light, to reach that star. But the eyes can see. The ears have the capacity to hear. The thundering and lightning which is happening, we can hear the thunder. We can hear even the things which are happening in our body. So ears, they have this capacity. Our nose has got the capacity to smell the various fragrance which are there on the earth. Our mouth has got the ability to taste. So they are like the sapta pranas which are expressing through these locations. So sapta prana prabhavanti tasma, they are born from that Brahma. Samarchishas samidhas sapta homaha teshancha saptarchisha deeptayah svavishaya vad svavishayavadyotanani. They are like the lights coming out of these senses. They illumine their respective objects. The eyes illumine the form, the ears illumine the sound. So they are like the 7 lights coming out of this location and illumining the objects. So saptarchishas samidha, they are like the samidha. Just as when we put some samidha in the fire, it burns more vigorously. Similarly, the light from our senses go and illumine the objects in front of us. So teshancha saptarchisha deeptayah svavishayavad jyotanani tatha sapta samidah sapta vishayaha. And then there are the 7 objects. 7 objects of the 7 senses, means the 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 nostrils and the mouth. Those respective objects are there. So they are the sapta samidha. They are like the 7 samidha. Just as those samidhas are offered in fire, these samidhas are as though offered into these 7 fires which are emerging from our face. Vishayaihi samidhyante pranaha. So they illumine the pranas. Sapta homaha tad vishaya vijnanani. Then there are this sapta homa, means the knowledge of these 7 objects. So knowledge of the 7 objects, the objects themselves, the fire-like thing expressing through the senses, all of them are described here very poetically as a thing of 7, 7, 7. Everything is 7. 7 is also a very mysterious, mystical number. 7 is a very mystical number. So everything is indicated here as 777. And Sapta ime lokaha, and the Sapta lokas are there, means 7 places where these senses are located. They are indicated here as the lokaha. So these are the place where the eyes are located, ears are located, nose, nostrils are located, mouth is located. They are like the Sapta lokaha. So kimcha sapta ime lokaha indriya sthanani yeshu charanti sancharanti pranaha, in which the pranas they move. The senses activated by the pranas, they move through this location. Prana yeshu charanti iti pranani visheshanam idam pranapanadi nivrutyartham. So these are the senses which are located here and they function from there. And guhayam sharire hridaye va swapakale sherate iti guhashaya. And these senses, when we go to sleep, they just merge into our antakarana and they rest there. Therefore they are called guhashaya. They rest in the antakarana, in the heart, when one goes to sleep. When we are awake, the senses, they are stationed in this location and they function. But when we go to sleep, they withdraw from that location and they rest in the antakarana. Therefore, a person who is fast asleep, if you open his eyelid, he will not be able to see you because the senses are not there. They are resting in the heart. So guhayam sharire hridaye va swapakale sherate iti guhashaya. They are resting in the heart. Therefore they are called guhashaya. Nihita stapita dhatra sapta sapta prati prani bhedam. So they who are established in these 7 locations, they go and rest in the heart. And once we are awake, they again go back to their respective places and they function. Just like we have our office. So we go to early morning, we go to our office and function from there. And after the whole day's work is over, we leave that office and come back home and rest. So when we are resting at home, and if somebody happens to go to the office and go to the counter, they will not be able to do any work because I am not present there. Similarly, the senses are working during the waking state through this location, but in deep sleep, they rest in the heart. So stapita dhatra sapta sapta prati prani bhedam yani cha atma yajinam vidusham karmani karma falani cha avidusham cha karmani tat sadhanani karma falani cha sarvam cha etat parasmadeva purushat sarvajñat prasutam iti prakaranartham. And all the results also which are attained by those people who are performing this karma, good as well as bad karmas, which are performed by this yajaman, they get the respective results. If one perform punya karma, then through Uttarayan we go to a higher world. If we perform okay karma, then we go through the dakshinayan marga. So all the sadhan as well as the different marga as well as the loka as well as all the ability to perform all these karmas, everything is born from Brahma. The whole sar of all this mantra is that everything is born from Brahma. Everything is Brahma and Brahma alone. Sarvam khalvidam Brahma. Okay? More about this we will see in our next class on Monday. So till then, you take care, be happy, safe, peaceful, healthy, do your work, do your sadhana. Listen to the pravachan again, contemplate, meditate, and we meet again on Monday. Hari Om. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram, 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 Jaya Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Ram. बोलिए सियावर रामचंद्र भगवान की जय. ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. ओम शांति शांति शांतिः. हरिः ओम. श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः. हरिः ओम.